Hello, this is my module for presentation. I'm going to start with the book that I chose. So I read the first four chapters and I am definitely going to continue reading it. It's called Empower, and it really is about student ownership of their own learning in the classroom and what the teacher's role is in the classroom. And I really liked the beginning of the book, and it really talks about how can you foster your current classroom environment so that it fits the STEM approach, and how can we let our students have more student choice and empower them to learn. It's written by John Spencer and AJ Giuliani, and actually AJ Giuliani teaches at the school district that I live in, not where I work, but let's talks about letting students make their own choice. And at this point in time, maybe you won't be the expert anymore in the content, but the student is becoming the content. So if we have 400 minutes per day with students, what are they actually doing, and what are we doing as the teacher? It encourages teachers to follow this approach called launch, which is to look, listen, and learn about the students and what you've done before in the past. Ask questions, understand the problem, navigate ideas, create, highlight what works, and then launch the actual lesson. So that's a little bit of an overview. I recommend the book because I think it's a great way to approach our current lessons in a regular school district that's not necessarily STEM based, and it allows us to build on these current classroom practices. It matches with my STEM identity because it provides resources and evidence of lessons that incorporate STEM thinking, and I think that it actually really will encourage me to look back at my lessons and take a new approach on them. So second, the podcast that I looked at is a podcast called the STEM Everyday Podcast. I listened to one podcast that was called Make Pie, and was actually an engineer and a teacher from Brazil who has a computer that students actually build, and then they learn how to use code on that computer that they build. So a recommendation, I think that the podcast itself does not focus specifically on one specific content area, which is nice, but rather it talks about people around the country, and he talks to people around the country and the world, and how what they're doing in the classroom to allow for student ownership. It matches with my STEM identity because I can listen to other colleagues and brainstorm ideas about what's happening. And more specifically, I can learn about different engineering and math approaches that other classrooms are using. The movie that I watched was Hidden Figures, and I really wanted to see this movie, so this was a good opportunity for me to watch it. An overview, it is about specifically African American female roles as highly skilled mathematicians and the roles in helping launch the first U.S. space shuttles in the 1960s. So it's obviously dealing with a time where we were trying to desegregate, and it shows a lot of power that women's had and the ability that they had to really do amazing things, especially in a STEM career. I highly recommend watching the movie. It accurately demonstrates the engineering design process through a real world challenge that clearly was presented years ago, and we've gotten such great accomplishments from it. And it matches with my STEM identity because I'm a math teacher, and it shows the power of math and the female role in STEM careers. And I think it is actually really empowering, which goes back to the book that I read. And then the place that I visited, I actually was trying, it's a little different probably than some of the others, but I was trying to find something that I could maybe incorporate in my, or bring to my school district this year. And I had a lot of students that were in robotics competitions, so I couldn't find that necessarily, but I did find this BSD Design Academy, which focuses on code. So an overview, it works with schools or individuals. They have workshops, and they also have a curriculum that they would come out to teach teachers how to use this curriculum for an experience for students with opportunities for coding, gaming, digital assistance, so learning how Siri and Alexa works, and also things like coding with art. So the recommendation I have for it is that it's outside of the Philadelphia area if you're around that area, but it's opportunities to attend a workshop or bring them to your school. And I think it matches with my STEM identity because it focuses on design and code, and I really want to find a way to bring this into specifically my geometry class because I have a lot of students that are interested in coding and the design process. And it believes in giving students the power to integrate the design and technical skills to build something different. So it really puts a lot of power on the students. And I think it really focuses on some of the math and engineering and technology approaches that STEM can incorporate specifically in my classroom. And then the last side is the references, and I will put these also on D2L so that you can access them too. So thank you.